Yo, what's going on, family? I want to talk to you guys about this huge revelation that I just received, and I know a lot of you guys need to hear this. So if any guys don't know, we are in the time of harvesting. We are in a harvest season. And the harvesting season usually starts in September and ends in October or November. But as we enter this harvest season, there are a few expectations that the Lord is looking for many of us to meet. But before I get into more of that, what is the definition of harvest? It is the process or period of gathering in crops. Now let's look for the biblical definition of this. It is God's provision for us and God's blessings for others. I want to say about a day or two ago, the Lord had led me to 2 Kings chapter 3. As I went to that chapter, I saw that it had some things highlighted. I didn't even know that I even read that chapter at some point in time, but all I know is that it was probably a long time ago. And what this chapter was really about was about how the Moabites had betrayed Israel. Now, when this rebellion had taken place, Jehoram, which was the king of Israel at that time, after his father, King Ahab, had died, he wanted to and decided to take action. So by taking action, he ended up going to the king of Judah, who was King Jehoshaphat. And as he went to King Jehoshaphat actually agreed on coming along with him to fight against the Moabites. Not only did these two join together, but also Edom had joined with them as well. As this happened, they marched in the wilderness for 7 days. As they were marching in the wilderness for 7 days, they ended up becoming weary. They ended up becoming tired. They ended up becoming thirsty. But the thing is, there was no water where they were. Now, doing something very shockingly, they ended up deciding to go to a prophet for provision. Usually in that time, the prophet would come to them, but instead they went to the prophet. And the prophet at that time was Elisha. Now, when they came to Elisha did not want to give any provision to King Jehoram because he was considered an evil king because of his father, King Ahab, and his mother, Queen Jezebel. But because Jehoshaphat was with him, Elisha considered. And if we read right here in 2 Kings chapter 3, verses 16 to 19, this is what Elisha had told them. And he said, "Thus says the Lord, make this valley full of ditches. For thus says the Lord, you shall not see wind, nor shall you see rain. Yet that valley shall be filled with water, so that you, your cattle, and your animals may drink." And this is a simple matter in the sight of the Lord. He will also deliver the Moabites into your hand. Also you shall attack every fortified city and every choice city, and shall cut down every good tree, and stop up every spring of water, and ruin every good piece of land with stones. Now here is the major instruction if we go back a couple verses. The Lord had instructed them to make the valley that they were currently in full of ditches, so that the water will be able to go into the ditch. Now I'm pretty sure the men being very tired, the men being very weary, the men being very thirsty, I'm pretty sure they did not have enough strength, nor did they want to get up and do that work to dig the ditch. But they needed to be obedient to the Lord in order to see the water. And not only would they be able to see the water, but the Lord will also give the Moabites into their hands, and they will be able to win the victory against the Moabites. After they did that, it said in verse 20 the next morning that they saw water being filled up in the ditch. Now, I know a lot of you guys might be wondering, like, Stevie, where is you going with this? But here, check this out. Although all these men were tired, although all these men were weary, they still decided to do the work of the Lord, and they still decided to be obedient in order to see their blessing come to pass. And not even just that, they were blessed even more by having the Moabites being delivered into their hands because of their obedience. So here's the instructions of the Lord during these times that we're in right now. We are in a time of harvest. We are in a time of sowing. And soon many people will be able to reap the harvests that they have sown. Like my sis said in her video, the harvest is plentiful, but the labors are few. In order for you to be able to see the outpouring of the Lord, in order for you to be able to receive what the Lord is trying to pour into your life, you have to dig your ditch. You have to be the one to dig the ditches. You have to be the one to get yourself prepared for this blessing and for this thing that the Lord is trying to bring into your life. This is not a time to become complacent. This is not a time to become lazy. This is not a time for disobedience, because you simply never know what's on the other side of your obedience. The Lord is looking for workers in this time. He's looking for people to do his work. He's looking for people who are going to be obedient. He is looking for people who are going to do thus says the Lord. Not people who are saying, oh, I'm just going to do that later. Oh, no, I'll do that another time. Oh, no, I'll do that next week. Because you simply don't know how much time you have. In order to be able to receive the Lord's outpouring, we have to be in position. We have to be in position, because if we're not in position, we are going to extremely miss out on what the Lord is doing. And even while we wait, he expects us to be in preparation for this very exact thing that we are about to receive. And even for the things that we are about to receive, the Lord is looking to do plus more. But this is all about your obedience. This is about showing the Lord, are you truly ready to what he's about to have you receive? Are you in this hour digging your ditches? Are you digging your ditches deep enough to allow the outpouring of the Lord? Don't miss this move because of your laziness. Don't miss this move because of your disobedience. Don't miss this move of God because of your procrastination. I'm talking to myself right now. But be prepared so that when time comes, you don't have to be prepared. You will already be in positions to receive what the Lord is already going to give you. And whatever you're facing, whatever you're going through, the Lord is about to use whatever he's about to pour into you to be able to conquer whatever has been putting you down, whatever has been causing you the most spiritual warfare. And if the Lord is telling you to do something, where does that start a business? Where does that get on your music? Where does that put out that word? Where does pray for that person, sow into that person, this, that, and the third? Do it. We in harvesting season, y'all. Don't go weary of doing good, for you shall reap a harvest if you faint not. Let's be ready, let's be in position, and let's be in preparation.